Hello, everybody. I am here again with the weekly reading, and this week will end us off on a full moon in Sagittarius. So we have the whole week of building towards that full moon on Sunday, Monday. It's even Sunday, Monday, depending where in the world you live. In South Africa, it will be happening on Sunday the 4th. We also really are still feeling the very, very strong fixed cross of energy from last week, where we would have been experiencing real Dharma, karma, fated situations, pressure to change and transform, and this would have been expanded in spaces in our lives that we needed to deal with and look at. So, I've put On Guard, which is a protecting blend, and just bringing in sort of for seasonal protection, but general, just looking at where is it that I need to protect my energy? Where is it that I need to protect my heart? Where is it that I need to protect my new beginnings and new growth? Because there's a lot of new beginnings happening, and we don't want those vulnerable new little shoots that are coming up to be hurt by toxic people, toxic situations, etc. So, as a healthy level of guarding oneself. Pick a number between 1 and 4, and we will jump in. So, this is the overall. We've got 2 cups, one of which is a court card, the King of Cups. We have 1 swords, and we have the Magician. Now, bearing in mind that we are now in Gemini season, and we have a very dualistic card with the 2 of Cups, and a very also has a strong sort of give and take energy in the Magician. And Gemini is an air sign, so this 9 of Swords, where you kind of get into an analysis paralysis, is also not to be, we're not surprised to see these kinds of cards. I do find it interesting with this King of Cups. So if we start the reading with our anchor card of this week being the 2 of Cups, this is a card of harmonious relationship, ideally. Remembering that cups are the element of water, which is our emotional intelligence, our emotional capacities. And in this particular card, especially when it's upright, you can see the mingling of the energy, that sacred union, bringing in all the rainbow light, which is really a potent place to be. Now, I want you to remember that this could be indicating focus on your relationships, healing in your relationships. This is obviously with romantic partner relationships, but all relationships and partnerships, friendships, relationships with parents, with children, with whomever you are kind of working towards growing and healing. Because remember, we're coming from a really deep transformational space, but also, and equally important, is the relationship with self. Because for me, whenever I see any relational cards, especially where they're kind of talking to the yin and the yang within, or the sacred masculine, divine feminine, we really have to start every relationship job working on that balance within ourselves. And that's really important. And then because we jump to the King of Cups, I feel like for most of us this week, the focus is going to be on that divine, that sacred masculine energy. So really looking into yourself and asking yourself, where am I emotionally intelligent and stable and secure? Where am I able to be vulnerable and strong at the same time? Think about things that the masculine represents to you. Think about the good father that you would have ideally loved to have. Now everybody has at least a little good and bad father in their upbringing, I have no doubt. But we're kind of going to the ideal, bearing in mind that that's not real. The ideal isn't always real. But what would the ideal father have been for you? How would he have spoken to you when you were in a crisis? How would he have held space for you? How would he have given you space, but also known when to step in? How would he have responded to your emotions? And how would he have shown you? How would he have mirrored for you and modeled for you the healthy masculine and the healthy emotional responses to things? And I think this is an important place for us to be delving into right now, as we head towards that Sagittarius full moon, because Sagittarius is a sign of a seeker, and it's got a lot of spirituality in it, and a definite nod to higher learning and expanding your learning and expanding your awareness. And I feel like, especially with Jupiter, who is the ruler of Sagittarius, having just moved into Taurus, a sign that definitely links to security, stability, financial security, and intelligence. it's a good idea for us to look at those things. So not only relational, but also I think in terms of our finances, how can we get wiser and more stabilized, but also in touch with our emotions? Because that is actually something that I think to a large degree in Western society, big boys don't cry kind of mentality is still quite stuck in there. So to see the wise King of Cups in his emotional capacity and propensity is a powerful energy. And if you really didn't get that in your actual fathering, look at father figures in your life. Even now, perhaps as an adult, there are father figures in your life. And just recognize when you are seen and supported by that energy, what is the effect on you and how can you heal those wounds? Because it feels like there's been a lot of wounds coming to the surface in the last few weeks. And the Nine of Swords really brings us back into that, because you might find that if you tap into the Two of Cups and the King of Cups, who are both upright in your emotional balancing out and your emotions via relationships, and you're especially leaning into the wise masculine within you and around you and through the course of your life, it may actually spin you off into this upside down Nine of Swords, which says, oh my gosh, I am coming from so much trauma. I am coming from so much damage. I am coming from making all these stupid mistakes. I have inflicted trauma. And you're just going to spiral backwards for a moment, especially if you drew 3 as your card. You might end up getting into the paranoia, into the how this is too much. I don't know how to turn this around. I don't know how to shift my stuff. And just get completely overwhelmed. And if that happens, try to just drop into it. Because I saw a lovely thing that really just resonated with me, like when we're drowning in the overwhelm of emotion. And of course, this card is a mind card. And you know how sometimes our minds just pick up on the emotions and then they run away with themselves. And then we don't know if it's a feeling or a thought, because they're so intermingled and we're just literally drowning in it. Either we can look for something to hold on to so that we don't get pulled away with that current, or we can swim like crazy and crazy and crazy until we're too tired to swim anymore, or we can drop down to the bottom and we can see if there's a way out beneath all of this stuff. And I do kind of feel like the energy of the astrology right now is saying, drop down to the bottom. You won't drown. Drop in. Feel all those feelings. Tap into all those fears. Don't stay there. Let the water keep moving. Let the emotions keep moving. Go through them. Be with them. Acknowledge your grief, your trauma, your whatever it is. Acknowledge it. Be with it. And then we step into the Magician, which is a major arcana card, and it's number 1. Remember, we do have a 0. The full card is the actual beginning of this journey, not the 1. But the 1 card is exceptionally powerful at manifesting. This is where we've started out on our journey and we're now ready to go, okay, what raw materials am I working with? And if we come back to what we're talking about, like let's say, what trauma am I working with? And why did that come to me? And what was it here to teach me? And yes, that is true. That did happen. And now I have to deal with it, because I can't take away the trauma. I can't take away the history of my masculine energy internally and externally. And it's not just masculine for you. If any energy is coming up is something to focus on, but the King of Cups just brings that a little bit more into focus. But if you're at that point where you're going, well, this is what I have. This is the story that I came from. This is where I felt like a victim. This is where I felt like a hero. This is where I felt overwhelmed, disempowered, empowered, and so on and so forth. How do I now take complete autonomy of my own choices in my own life and not allow myself to be ruled by my story, by my traumas, by anything that has been holding me back, by my fears, and take what I have and work with it, alchemize it, turn it into something magical, change my life. And we really all have the potential to do this. And we're doing it in every moment. Even if we're doing it detrimentally for ourselves, we're doing it. So if we can take that consciousness into this Magician card and go, well, I'm going to consciously acknowledge that I'm going through it and it's been hard and I don't want to look at that. And also, how did I not see that before? And all those kinds of things, and just be open and honest with yourself, and then turn that lead into gold. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful week.